Keen Project Solutions, a modern engineering and construction firm, embracing technology, establishing industry-leading systems and processes, and delivering reliable results to our customers. At Keen, we are passionate about inspiring our team and our customers to achieve great things, offering the highest quality services as an industrial contractor to deliver turnkey projects. Our core beliefs drive us forward. Protect people, build relationships, drive innovation, and focus on end goals, bringing our customers' desired results to life. See how Keen can work for you at thinkthinkeen.com.
I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic, and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans.
And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field.
Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We can even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cyclone Fanatic pregame show. I'm your host, Leah Nelson. Chris Williams will be joining me today. It's been a while since him and I have been able to sit down and talk basketball, so I'm super pumped about that. Iowa State men's basketball team is taking on Kansas State in the last regular season game today at 12:30, and we'll get into it. We'll chat about it, but before we get started, let's thank our sponsors, starting off with the title sponsor, Channel Seed. Great people, great organization, great Iowa fans, so we love having them on board. Then we've got Keen Project Solutions. They're celebrating 10 years of innovation, serving ag, industrial, and commercial customers with pride. Be a part of a team that values your dedication and turns your expertise into impactful solutions. Make sure you visit thinkdifferentthinkkeen.com to apply today. And then we've got our friends over at Raymond James. Thanks to Raymond James Financial Advisors, Clay and Chase Natuzel. They are a family of lifelong Cyclone fans assisting clients with all their financial needs for over 32 years. They've got offices in Carroll, Ames, and Ankeny. You can connect with Clay and Chase Natuzel at raymondjames.com/Natuzel. Shout out our sponsors. Chris, it's been forever since we've been able to do a show together.
I know. What's going on? How's life?
You know, living the dream. It's been a blast covering women's basketball, so...
That was
obviously
a heartbreaker last night. Oh.
It was definitely hard. I mean, they were down, it was like 22-8 at one point, and then to come back in the fourth quarter and make it close, right down to the wire.
Baylor just could not stop Audie. Like, she was unbelievable.
No, it was incredible. I mean, it was funny looking at the stats after the game, too. Audie had 30 points, and then no one else was in double digits.
I know.
They didn't have an answer.
That made it really hard, too. I felt like at the end. I didn't get to watch post-game. I was actually out to dinner with the family, and it was one of those places that couldn't get ESPN Plus on the TV, so we had the old phone.
Yep.
And like we're all like screaming at it, and I didn't see what Chelsea had to say, but it felt like, you know, at the end of the game, Baylor was just so on to like Audie's the only reason they're in the game, so they just packed it in and made it impossible to get her the ball. And
exactly what you hit it on.
Okay.
Hit it on the nose.
Chelsea's the expert, not me. I'm glad that my take on it agreed with her. But man, we saw like in that tournament though, just two incredible games.
Yeah.
With what Addie did on Thursday and then what Audie did last night, it was incredible.
It was really fun, and I mean, obviously, I could talk about women's basketball all day, but
so could I. I'm terrified about today. Did you see Keyshawn's out?
I did. I was just going to ask you about that. I mean, what, muscle strain?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're being told is it's the same thing. Sorry, I'm plugging in a phone over here.
No, you're
it's
good.
The same thing as that he's been struggling with. You know, it I guess it just feels like to me you're locked into the 5 seed of the Big 12 tournament. This guy's been going he's been going hard with this tweak or whatever is going on with his. I'm told it's not like a structural deal, so it's not like
oh, he's got a torn meniscus, or it's nothing like that. It's like, can you play through pain? And you've got probably 4 games. I hope 4 games
Right.
next week. Nothing is guaranteed, especially with as up and down as this team has been lately. But it looks like they're going the route of let him rest and have him ready for the postseason. So it's what it like. Really, like I would argue it's a big game because they just haven't been consistent for a really long time, and you'd like to see them go into the tournament not on a 2-game losing streak. But the reality of it from a like your seeding, I think it'll impact. I think today's game. My gut would tell me, and I'm not a bracketologist, but if they would win, even if they lose today, if they would win a game in Kansas City, they're probably going to still be a 3 seed. But if you lose today, like I don't know, like it feels like a 4 seed is much more in play. I would much rather be a 3 seed for obvious reasons in the NCAA tournament because I feel like you don't want to play that 1 seed in the Sweet 16. So to me, like today's a bigger game because I've said all season the Big 12 championship doesn't mean a lot to me anymore because of how many teams there are and uneven schedules and all that. I would rather like, how do you get to the Final Four? That seems hard right now with this team. Just they haven't played consistently enough. But if you drop to a 4 seed, man, your road to the Final Four gets a lot more difficult. So that's why I'm locked in today. I got the Cyclones versus the World gear on. Yeah, I'm ready to go. But it gets a lot more difficult without Keyshawn Gilbert. There's no question about that.
Well, how do you think that they're going to come out today? Obviously, you mentioned the BYU game, double overtime loss, and then they've lost to Kansas State earlier in the season in February, 80-61. So
I think that they'll be really fired up today.
I think so too.
The thing about the BYU game too is, and I know that there's a certain portion of the fan base that doesn't want to hear me say this, but I don't care. Like BYU in the last month and a half, according to the metrics, is like the first or second ranked team in the country. Okay. They're really good. So like, was Iowa State perfect the other night? Absolutely not. But I don't think Iowa State was like horrible by any means either. Like they had a bad stretch, which unfortunately is kind of what this team does. Like a lot of these Otzelberger teams, they'll play really good for 30 minutes. They're terrible for 10, but this is kind of what they are. I didn't even leave that game. I was pissed with 10 to go. It was like, God, like getting killed on the glass, all that stuff. But like at the end of the game, I was like, I can live with that. It's just kind of how I felt about it because I have that much respect for BYU and for people who listen to me throughout the week. I've been talking about them for a month. Like, watch out. That I thought that would be a harder game than Arizona, and for once in a while, every once in a while, I'm correct. And I was there, but this game to me, I feel like it was the same story when Kansas State came into Hilton. They were one of the hottest teams in the country, and they have since really cooled off. So, like, I do think for a couple reasons, I like Iowa State from the like intangible standpoint today. The situation of Kansas State's different now than they were. Iowa State, I believe, is a better team now than it was at that point because they were really in that lull with Milan being out, and it just there was a lot of bad, like they just weren't very good at that point. And I do think like they were pretty humiliated after that game. Like that was the worst loss of the year still to me. I know the Oklahoma State game, but that was still on. Like I thought the Kansas State game for one of the first times in the Otts era, I felt like effort sucked. A lot of that like 50-50 balls that they hang their hat on, they didn't get. And I'd be really surprised if, they didn't have really hard days of practice the last 2 weeks. I think they'll be ready to go. I really do. I definitely wouldn't bet on Iowa State today because you don't know. Like right. But as far as like, will they be ready to go? Absolutely. I think that, and honestly, with Keyshawn being out again too, it's like weird things happen in sports when a player goes down, other guys step up, and I could see that happening today too. The Keyshawn deal is weird because it's this new era of college athletics where 10 years ago that guy probably guts through it and plays, but now there's money involved, thinking about the draft, all this stuff. And it's like, there's this weird, that icky part that nobody wants to talk about that I personally hate, but it's the reality as well.
You described it perfectly. It literally feels icky, but it's reality of what college basketball is now.
Listen, and like it happening everywhere too. It's not just an Iowa State thing. It's and he did put out like a tweet, and I had to go and run the lyrics. It's a rap lyric, I guess. And I had to have a couple of younger people like tell me what he was saying, because it looked horrible.
Well, it was hard to. Aiden showed it to me before we started recording.
Yeah, so you can put it up, Aiden, because there's a couple people in the comments that are. He says, "Love you, to death, but you can't play with my intelligence. All I want is money. All that other shit, irrelevant." So it was described to me. What are you laughing at? I just read all I did was read a tweet.
Go on, sorry.
That's a song lyric, and it's like, hey dog, I'm gonna get healthy so I can be good in the tournament, is how it was explained to me.
Who explained it to you like that?
A couple younger people. Honestly, I texted some young family members and like.
I love it. That's perfect. But
I don't know. Like, but I would have if I were his coach though. Like, why the hell did you tweet that?
Right. No. I am right along with you. It's a
stupid thing to tweet right now, Keyshawn, because now everybody's like questioning you, and like it's just a bad look, and like I don't think he meant it. Like, screw you people. Like I really don't. But now I've got everybody asking me about this tweet, and. It's just a distraction.
Like you said, college basketball is icky right now. And I feel like you have to be careful with what you say and what you tweet and what's on social media. And I feel like this is just kind of right on the line of, is what he
means
like
WWE is like, is this real?
Right. Is
this like
exactly
coded?
What it feels like.
I don't know.
Like, is there an underlying meaning that like we're missing out? And I don't know.
I don't blame fans for asking that either.
I mean, when I first read it, I read money terrible. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is he talking about?
Most people don't know that's a song lyric either. I mean,
well, exactly. No,
did you know it was a song lyric?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
how old are you?
I'm 24, so I feel like that's. But a lot of people who are looking at that tweet won't know that's a song lyric. Just like you hit it on the head. So.
Well, if you were to ask me. Would you rather have Keyshawn Gilbert for today's game or next week in Kansas City? I would take him next week in Kansas City.
Right. I think a lot of people would say the same. And there's been so many injuries, sickness, illness, all of the above. So I'm not too upset.
It is like the thing is too, all these people shitting on him for the turnovers. Like, stop it. Keyshawn had one of the great defensive games in Iowa State history against BYU the other night. Like he was an absolute dog. 8 steals, like he was awesome. And that you go back to that Houston game. I mean, Iowa State wins that game if he's there.
Yeah.
Cryer's not doing that. Like, so it's like, don't just look at his offense. They're a much worse defensive team when Keyshawn's not on the floor.
Great take. I love when you kind of call out the comments. Chelsea does that too. It's so nice.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but like there's always more to it. And this is what I always try and remember. Leah, you've been in the dugout, right? Like fans and media, we generally don't know more than about 20 to 30%. Like there's always something else so it's just like you got to be careful by just assuming things. And it just like if I were his advisor, like don't put out that tweet. Like just let the school press release say he's not playing. And then talk to the media afterward, like, because now, like, everybody's just like, oh.
Yeah, now take his phone away.
Yeah, it's like,
Right.
So we'll see. I just the thing that sucks is like Iowa State needs time together. They need to play strong minutes together because this team hasn't been healthy all year, and it's it. Like today's it. Postseason starts next week. So yeah, I'm admittedly down right now, like going into the postseason. But hopefully I'm not throwing in the towel.
Right. Good. That's what I like to hear. I have one last question too. This is kind of a little off topic, but still basketball related. Will the Big 12 court still be the same for men's?
Oh yeah. Yeah. they're not
Period.
changing that.
And I love that you love it too.
Yeah. Like, come on.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think it's cool.
Me too.
And
think
I
it's so
love
cool.
like my favorite like color scheme is like black and charcoal and like I think it's
Oh.
cool.
I think people who understand the lyric tweet that Keyshawn sent out likes the court. And then the people who wouldn't understand that are the people that like wouldn't like the court. It's that age difference, if that makes
Well,
sense.
good. I'm glad I'm one of the young people.
You're in the younger cool.
Yeah, I did
cool
like
crowd.
it's for 1 week. So 1 week for the women, 1 week for the men. It's not like this isn't like Oregon's court where you're playing on it all season long. I'm
Yeah.
cool with it. Like I don't like love it, I guess. Like I'm not like obsessed with it, but like
Okay.
I'm totally fine with it. Like
But
I'm
you're
not gonna like
against it.
yeah. Like I think it's cool. Like
Cool.
yeah. And
That's a
the
good
more
idea.
like all these boomers bitch about it, the more I like it, to be honest with
Why
you.
is that so valid? That when I tweeted it out, and the more people that were like, "You such a bad take," I'm like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
I love it even more."
I know. Because my co-host Chris Hassel like keeps bitching
Oh.
about it. And I'm like, the more you bitch, the more I like it.
I don't really know him, but when I watched that clip of him hating the floor and you trying to like give your take about how you liked it and he kept cutting you off, I was like, I don't know if I like this guy. But I don't know him, so.
All right, well, let's go get a win today. Let's do it.
Exactly. Shout out to our sponsors, title sponsor Channel Seed, Keen, Raymond James. Shout out Aiden for producing. Go Cyclones.